Hi everyone, this is Tracy, and today I'm going to share with you how I created this DIY carrot using something that I had on hand. Hopefully you will too. Because it's not using something that's quite in season right now, but I know a lot of us crafters have these on hand, and so if you do, this is an idea for you to make a cute little spring craft. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel because I love to share crafty ideas just like this one. So let's go ahead and get started and I will show you what I did. Now I had one of these witch hats from the Dollar Tree on hand and I thought I would make a carrot out of it. So this is the first one that I did, and I was not quite happy with it because I tried to get my orange burlap to kind of, go down like at a point, and I wasn't very successful. But on the second one, and that's what I'm showing you here in this tutorial, I'm going to show you what I did to get that point, and I am much happier. I used my wire cutters and I cut off a portion of the witch hat that had the curve on it. And then I'm going to use my zip ties and I'm going to zip tie that frame together so that it makes a point. Now, the first time that I did this, it still was curved a little bit and I wasn't happy with it. But later on in the video, I actually move this little portion of the frame and I make it an even more of a point. So it can be done. So that's why I'm just kind of sharing that little tip. Anyway, I will just zip tie this little frame together and then I'm going to move on to cutting my burlap. So these 6-inch burlaps are from Walmart and I've had them on hand for quite a while, but I just kind of want to let you know where I got them from. Anyway, I just roll them out and I'm counting my squares so that I will let you know because a lot of people ask, how long did you cut them? I cut them at 5 inches each, and I find it easier if I lay them both out and cut them together, but you can definitely cut them one by one, but it's just a little bit easier and I find that it helps me with cutting them out at the same time. I'm going to use chenille stems or pipe cleaners to put this on my frame. And then what I'm showing you here is I just have them cut in thirds and I keep them in this little bin that I got from the thrift store. I love it. It keeps all of my chenille stems nice and tidy. So then I'm going to start with my green burlap because I wanted to, I just found by working on the other one, the first one, that I want to put my green on first. So I have my 5-inch burlap and then I just fold the corners down and then I just scrunch it together, take a chenille stem, and then I have the points at the top and then also at the bottom. And then I'm starting on the bottom of the, like where the brim would be on the witch hat. And then I just twist that burlap on there and then twist that around the back so that it's secure. My Tonic Studio brand scissors come in very handy for projects like this. Now, these are the 7-inch ones, and they're very short, and I can get in there and cut that chenille stem. These are good for wire, and something that's a little bit harder to cut. I have 2 pairs that you see me use. I have the short one, and then I also have the long blade ones. I like to use them because they cut wire and they cut things that are a little bit harder that we don't want to mess up our good scissors for. And so anyway, now what I'm doing, I'll just continue to make my little petals here. This is the top of my carrot, and I'm just going around and just putting the green burlap. I'm not using the seamed edges of the burlap. I'm actually bending down the cut edges, and I make like just some triangles, scrunch them up in the middle, get a chenille stem, and then I hook it on and I tie it in the back because I'm going to cover the back of my carrot up with some felt so that it's all nice and tidy. because I do sell a lot of my crafts. I work for part-time for a business here in my local town. And so I do like to have my crafts finished on the back so that everything is nice and tidy. For the orange part of the carrot, I have this 5-inch burlap, and I am just kind of bending over the edges and kind of scrunched in the middle, and then just going to do it the same way. I just take a chenille stem and I just start hooking it on the frame. Now, I found that if I did a bunch of these at one time, then I could sit and hook them on all at one time. And so that's just kind of a little tip that is what works for me. Guys, if you recreate this, I encourage you. My channel is to inspire you to recreate anything that I do. And recently, I've been getting a lot of, well, not a lot, but I've been getting some comments that says, do you mind if I recreate this? And I do not. This is the reason why I put this here out on my channel. If it's something that I don't want you to recreate, I'm not going to show you, but that is the purpose. I want to share. God has given me this talent, and I want to share it with as many people that love country crafts as much as I do. So anything that you do, you are free to, recreate, sell it at craft shows, decorate your home with it. I don't care. It's just if you recreate it, if you do a tutorial or if you share it, just be courteous and maybe give credit for where you got the inspiration. That's the only thing that I do ask, because it is the right thing to do, and I appreciate it. So I'm at the point now where I need to finish the bottom, and I'm still not happy with the way that this hooked together here. And I want it to be more of a tip at the bottom, kind of like how the carrot goes down. And so I cut that cable tie or zip tie that I had on there, and then I kind of made it a little more straight and tied it back together, and that works much better. So I'm more happier because it goes more to a tip. And so then now I'm just continuing to put the rest of my orange burlap on to finish out my carrot. I know I didn't film this part, but it's pretty simple. I just have 2 sheets of felt, and I just laid it across the back and just cut off the excess. Then I took my poking tool and poked a hole through the felt and just ran my zip tie through there, attaching it to the frame so that it would finish off the back. And I think that, this just provides a little bit more, courtesy to the customer, only so that you don't have this messy back showing, but it's definitely a personal preference. Now I'm going to share how I made this big old fluffy bow using these ribbons. Now, a lot of these ribbons came from Hobby Lobby, or I had them on hand. So it's just a mix and match of different ribbons, like I said, that I had on hand. Now, this ribbon is from Hobby Lobby. It is my favorite ribbon. It has burlap, and then it has the black and white buffalo check on the edges. Now, I'm making 2 loops, and I cut off the tails. I use my tiny attacher. It's just a little bitty stapler. I will have a link in the description if you want to check it out a little bit more. Now this one right here is a buffalo check, and I'm just figuring out how big I want the loops, and then I just make 2 loops, and then I use my tiny attacher to just secure it in the middle. This is what helps me make bows. And then I layer them all together, and then I secure them with a chenille stem and fluff them up, and I have a big old bow. Now, if big bows are not your thing, you can always adjust the size of your ribbon. So I'm going to show you how I cut the ribbon. I cut them, the middle pieces at 12 inches, but you can always adjust your inches, or you can eliminate some of the ribbons to make a smaller bow. This ribbon is from the fall season. I think I got it at Joann's. Anyway, I'm just cutting it at 12 inches, and then I dovetail the ends, and then I singe the ends with my lighter. It just kind of helps protect them so they don't fray over time. And then the next one I will cut at 12 inches as well. This burlap is from Hobby Lobby, and I dovetail the ends of those. This window pane ribbon is wire, and I'm just going to cut off a section. I'm not making a bow out of it. And actually, I'm going to twirl it or kind of loop it around to give some character to my bow. I'm doing the same thing with this orange burlap I had on hand, and it just kind of curls, and I'm just going to put that in the section of my bow to kind of give it some dimension. Now, this orange and white gingham, it's an Au Frais brand. I'm not quite sure where I got it, maybe Walmart. Anyway, so I just make 2 loops and secure it with my tiny attacher. The little tiny attacher has little bitty staples, and so then when I go to scrunch it up and put my chenille stem, it's not a big bulky staple. Anyway, I have some raffia, and then I'm just going to make a bow, just tying that into a knot, because I'm going to put this on my carrot because it's going to look so country and so cool, of course, with this raffia. So here are all of my ribbons. That's why I like to use my tiny attacher, because then now I will start stacking my ribbons and forming my bow. So this is my bottom layer. Then I have the buffalo check next. Then I have the burlap. I'm going to scrunch it up in the middle and kind of hold it with my left hand, because then I can, form. I'm forming my bow, and this just kind of helps me a little bit. So then I'm alternating that burlap 12-inch, the buffalo check, and then also the orange and white checkered ribbon. I just alternate those and kind of offset them just a little bit so that they do not, they're not like right on top of each other. The next I have the window pane, and I just have it draping down just to flip over. Then I have the orange burlap, and just kind of having that to drape down. Then I'm just layering on the rest of it. Then I have my raffia on top. I'm using a chenille stem to tie everything together. I just weave it through the back in between my fingers, then flip it over, and then I try to get the chenille stem as tight as I can. Sometimes I can get it, just with my own strength, but other times I have to pull out my needle nose pliers to kind of help me get a very tight hold without breaking my wire. Anyway, and then I just fluff my bow. I'm going to secure it to the frame of the carrot, and, make sure that everything is, my ribbons aren't flipped, like maybe the back is showing or anything like that. I don't want anything like that. I just fluff my bow because that is so super important. To hang it, I just used a piece of wire, and I just slipped on 2 beads, and then that is how my carrot is going to hang. Again, if you want a smaller bow, you can definitely adjust the size of your ribbons, eliminate some of the ribbons, or enjoy the big bow, just like this one, how I showed you here in this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your kind comments, your positive support, and we will talk to you very soon. God bless.